Hello. Tonight I'd like to talk about doing water changes on a saltwater tank. Somewhat similar in terms of doing it on a freshwater tank, except of course I do not use the gravel filter since I have live sand on the bottom of the tank. And my Diamond Watchman Goby takes care of the aeration of the sand bed. So what I do, I have the standard method here. Tonight I'm doing a 5-gallon water change. I alternate. One week I do a 5-gallon water change, the other week I do a 10-gallon, and that seems to help me keep my nitrates down on a 36-gallon tank, which generally requires more water changes than a larger tank. So right here, as you can see, you have the standard drainage hose with the the squeeze bulb that's on there, and then it just runs down into the good old Home Depot bucket, and so I do that. One of the reasons I do mine into a bucket is because it helps me keep track of how much water I have emptied out. It's just a good measurement system. That's why I put it in the bucket rather than just doing what some people do, which is running a hose to your bathtub drain. It also helps, in my mind, prevent a little bit of saltwater corrosion on my pipes. So I don't do that. Anyways, so I just start out with this, and then I just come over to the master switch on the aquarium here, and got a piece of tape over it because my kids keep messing with the switch, and just turn it off there, and then take a few pumps on this, and there it goes. Now you can see it, just the suction working, going right down in there. It works pretty good. So anyways, one of the things that I like to do is to use this method where the lid kind of holds this in place, because otherwise the hose has a tendency to drift down towards and attach itself to the live rock, which of course is not necessarily the best thing. So anyway, it's going to go ahead and drain, and once it gets near the top there, then I know I've got about 5 gallons of water drained. Now, I have a somewhat unconventional method here, since obviously, it's a combination of, getting the suction, and of course the source of water that you're trying to drain out of needs to be higher than when you're doing it without a motor, than what you're draining it into. So for the refill method, this is the poor man or backbreaker method that I use. I take a 6-foot ladder here, and I mount a 5-gallon premix of salt water and RO right up there on top. And then what I'll do is I will just take this other hose I have, once it's done draining, into the bucket, and then I'll stick the bulb end into the jug there, and then put the hose down into the tank over here, and that seems to give me a really good flow. It does it in a good amount of time. I tried actually picking up the jug, and just when I first got it, newbie mistake, and just dumping it in, it's terrible. The water goes everywhere, and you're going to break your back in the process because you have to hold the jug and tilt it the whole time. So anyways, this method, just as I said, poor man's method for a guy who doesn't actually have the pump that just pumps it in, seems to work pretty well. As you can see right now, my poor little Ocellaris clownfish is freaking out right now because his water's going down and he doesn't know what the heck's going on. Seems kind of odd though, given the fact that he's a tank-bred fish, but anyways, he's just a little bit skittish over that. So come back over here, and you can see the bucket's probably about half full right now from the drainage, and it'll continue like that for just a few more minutes. And that's pretty much it. I do this process pretty much on a weekly basis, whether it be a 5-gallon or a 10-gallon. With a 10-gallon, I just do the jug up there twice. But that's a method that I've found that works in terms of water flow and keeping the amount of time down to a minimum without, you know, just dumping a colossal amount of water into the tank at once. It's a good feeder, even flow feeder system. So anyways, that's what I do for changes on my 36-gallon bow front reef tank, and thanks for watching.